But what I need them to do is when people stand up for their own rights, they're standing up for everybody's rights. You know,
That's right.
When I stand up and make noise and I claim my rights, I'm representing everybody else, too, that doesn't have the intestinal fortitude or the wherewithal to be able to do the same thing. But what I have to ask in return is when the oppressive fist of Big Brother comes down and goes after people who try to stand up for their rights and try to uphold the Constitution and make the political leaders obey the rules that they're supposed to be obeying. See, when they come after me and try to throw me in jail, I need the people on the jury to say, I don't care what the judge says. I don't care what the prosecutor says. I know what's right, and what that person is doing is right. I'm voting not guilty. See, that's what I need people to, not just for me, but for everybody. People need to understand that when they go for jury duty, that is a vote to shoot down oppressive government as much as it is to, determine whether that person is guilty or not. If the government's coming after somebody and they're not, the government's not representing the people's wants, the country's best interests, and then they start coming after people who are, trying to make a point to show that these elected officials are not representing the country. Then they come after people like me, they'll come after people like you, they'll come after other celebrities who have influence over people that may try to direct them one way or the other. If that don't go with the grain of the New World Order's agenda, then they're going to come after you. But you can always protect your fellow citizen by voting not guilty on the jury, no matter what the oppressive government tries to do.
That's right. And, a lot of judges will try to tell a jury, try to instruct a jury on how to view the evidence, on how to decide, basically.
Yep, the judge's famous words are, I will instruct the jury as to what the law is. That's their famous words before they let the jury go deliberate.
Yeah, absolutely. But, for people listening out there, you need to know, if you're on a jury, it is up to you. It's not up to the judge.
There's an organization out there that if you go to serve for jury duty and they know, you mentioned something about knowing information from this jury organization. It's called Fully Informed Jury Association, or also known as FIJA. If you check that out, they got a lot of information on there. And if they know that you're an informed juror, they're going to try to get you off that jury as fast as they can, because they don't want free-thinking people up there being able to deliberate the facts, not just the presentation as it's being presented.
Absolutely. And that's funny you mentioned that. I've never been chosen for jury duty.
I've never been chosen either.
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. Do you want me to use your name, or do you care or not?
It doesn't matter. I call a couple other talk shows now and again, so.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me, Bob. I have another funny story, but unfortunately it would take a little time. But
all right, well, I just figured I needed to call in tonight and give you my take on what I was thinking from what you were saying. So
yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it, Bob. Thank you, man.
No problem.
You have a good night. I'll talk to you soon. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
All right.
Is this Mr. X?
Yes. That sheriff there, he said it wasn't illegal, so, they shouldn't have bothered him. If it's a loophole, that's all the time, and they shouldn't bother people if it's not illegal.
Right. It's just a little bit of public criticism, that's all.
Right. And the Boston Globe, they had 4 pages on it, or maybe 5. I haven't read it yet, but I have it. And it was covered in the press quite a bit. So, it's in Boston, so they're going to put it mostly in Boston papers. And a lot of people in Rhode Island buy the Boston paper.
Yeah. No, I hadn't seen the Globe. It's new to me. I'll have to take a look at it.
Yeah, Sunday. Yeah. And Bonnie Frank and, Cicilline, they have a new job,
Oh, God. I'm afraid to ask.
Yeah, they're going to be TSA inspectors.
Oh,
They're running down there for that.
Well, what can I say?
And, you do have more than one listener. You keep saying listener. It's listeners, because you have more than one listener, I think. You have at least us, too. They're just called. No, I know. It's you, it's Bob, and then there's actually 3. There's that other guy that wears the tinfoil hat down on Winter Street that's always looking out his window. Okay, 3 listeners. So you got to say 4 listeners. Right.
No, I say that just to make it more personable.
Right. And Kim Jong-il, his son's name is Kim Jong Mentally Ill.
Yeah, I heard it was Kim Jong-un.
I don't know, but
yeah.
Everybody says Kim Jong-un Leo.
They're great people. I wish you were my dictator.
You were saying something about a cop, police, but it was a cop and it wasn't a cop. Aren't they the same?
Well, a cop is actually more of a derogatory word for police officer. It's kind of evolved over the years to just be synonymous with police officer, but cop is not a cop. I don't have it was told to me at one time by an uncle of mine. It's sort of a definition of like a crooked police officer, but just over the years it's evolved into just common terminology.
Right.
But I think it's more respectful to call him police officer, but that's why I called this guy a cop.
And I know you're running out of time, so the last thing I have that movie, One Night in Paris. I think Paris Hilton is a very good actress.
Well, thank you, Mr. X. I'll try and forward her an email or something from you then.
Okay.
All right.
Probably next week then.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call.
Right, all right.
This is worth mentioning, folks. When we were talking about when Bob called and he mentioned when someone stands up for their rights, which vicariously is the rights of others, oftentimes the enemy will try and slap them down, make an example out of them. Well, Lieutenant Colonel Terry Lakin, he's the best example. SafeguardOurConstitution.com, SafeguardOurConstitution.com. Support Terry Lakin because right now he has stuck his neck out for this president's eligibility to be president, and he needs our support as much as possible. And that being said, looks like we got about a minute left. There's the music, right on schedule. Tonight there's no youth champions on. There's no city council meeting. It'll be the Michael Savage Show. But like I said, choose. You got to choose right now, American. You're either walk on one side of the road or the other. You're either for the Constitution and the Bill of Rights or you're against it. And you got to decide. This is a critical point in our history, the most critical. History will show this is the most critical time. And it's important that you understand you have power. You have power to make change. You have the power to bring this country back to a constitutional republic. So go to realitycheckradio.net, read the Bill of Rights, and defend it. Defend it!